Hey, good morning, my friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. It is so great to be spending this lovely morning with you all. It's Wednesday morning. Had a great live show last night with Will Hogue from the El Patron. Check that out. And we had a kid who caught a Dorado off the docks in Newport Beach, California. I mean, it's getting crazy. Half-day boat, Bluefin out of Newport Beach. Bluefin crawling all over the Channel Islands, and there's Bluefin all over Tanner Bank, but those little devils have their mouths sewn shut right now. There's a few fish being taken here and there, but the bluefin bite has definitely been off. It's not for a lack of fish, however. There's tons of it around, and I think it's moon phase. We get to this part of the full moon, they go off the bite. They are going to chomp here really, really soon. It's going to get crazy. Tremendous Dorado action pushing up the Baja Coast and into Southern California. We're seeing yellowfin tuna in LA, Orange County areas right now. Yellowfin, Dorado, Bluefin. Oh my God, it's getting crazy. And there's a lot of marlin around. Also some good fishing south of the border. And you know what time it is, everybody, because it's getting crazy. It's time for the morning briefing. Great to be with you all. Hey, there's a guy here. Hey, come over here a second. You're shooting video for your YouTube channel?
Yes, sir.
What's your name, man?
Eric.
I've met you, right,
Yes,
Eric?
sir.
How are you?
Doing very
Introduce
well.
yourself to everybody, and what's your channel?
Eric with Start Fishing Today. Great to meet you, Phil.
Hey, Eric, come
again,
on.
And again, and again.
I know. That's right. I saw you here.
Yes, sir.
Did you get some video of were you shooting Corvina or just the waves or what?
We got a new channel, Soothing Sounds by Nature.
Nice.
So it's just going to be sounds of ocean, streams, rivers,
Perfect.
rain, forests.
Eric, good to see you.
You as well,
Catch
sir.
a fish. If you catch something, jump back in there.
Will do.
Take care, my friend. All right. Always good to meet a fellow angler down here. I've met him many times before. I'm showing my age. Who are you? Oh, yeah, I met you 500 times. Sorry, Eric. Anyway, good to be back with you. I'll hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to share these videos if you are enjoying them, even if you're not enjoying them. And tick that little bell. You'll be notified when there is new content. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Make sure you check us out there. I don't know what to tell you. Things are getting really crazy. Half-day boat bluefin, Dorado off the docks. We're seeing tons of great mahi-mahi fishing down out of San Diego, and it just can't get much better than it is right now. Well, yes, it can. That bluefin can get back to chomping again, and it will. We're starting to see so much of it in so many different areas. In fact, the Aloha Spirit up there out of Cisco's in Oxnard said, we're going to put the kite on the boat, and we're going bluefin fishing. We're seeing way too much fish. So that bite will get back with it again. Hey, I got to mention, we had a couple of cancellations. The Apollo, a week from Friday night, we leave from C4 Sport Fishing, a one-day trip, and it couldn't be planned any perfectly. One-day boats, full-day boats down there are getting easy limits on the Dorado with a good chance at yellowfin tuna. And by September the 7th, who knows what will be happening. That is the Apollo, leaving September the 7th, $350, 2 spots open on that. And if you'd like to go, just send me a text, 657-227-6459. We'd love to have you on that one. And of course, Independence 5-day trip right on the horizon. Man, we'd love to see you on board that. I'll be there to shoot a video. It's going to be a lot of fun. October the 20th, that is $2,250. And you can book that trip by going to, of course, independentsportfishing.com, or you can see their phone number right there. All right, let me start you out in Ensenada and tell you there's great mixed bag fishing going on down there. There's still a little bit of barracuda, some good calico bass fishing, excellent rock fishing if you want to do that, and kelps are holding outside. You got to find that right kelp. There's no question about it. When you do, you will encounter full speed Dorado fishing. It's really, really good. In Mexico, 2 Dorado per angler per day. In U.S. waters, 10 Dorado per angler per day. So you get an idea of what you'll be able to keep and catch, and it's been really great fishing for the Pongueros down in Ensenada. I did mention that the guys down there fishing out of San Quintin are having absolutely wonderful yellowtail fishing, and they've got the offshore Dorado and everything else. So there is some really great fishing going on south of the border, no doubt about that. All right, let's get you up into that one-day range from San Diego, where really that's where the focus is right now as we wait for the bluefin to get back on the bite. And it has been absolutely fabulous fishing. I mean, way more boats than not had limits of Dorado yesterday. We've been calling for this for quite some time. I mean, with an El Nino and this warm water, and we're starting to see so much Dorado, you had to think it was going to happen, and it is happening in such a big way down there in San Diego. 25-pound fluorocarbon, www.opsonusa.com will really work well for you. I have 40-pound. I'd have some 60 and 80-pound. You just don't know when that bluefin's going to bite, and it's going to bite. There's too much of it around. It does this on the moon phase on a predictable basis, so don't worry about that. That's going to get chewing again. So make sure you have the kitchen sink with you. And that's pretty much what we're going to recommend no matter where you're going right now, because things are getting absolutely crazy. I mean, local boats here in LA Orange County, we're seeing massive amounts of bluefin tuna. There's bluefin with the yellowfin and the Dorado. It's about to go insane. All right, back to San Diego. I digress. And well, let me give you a few scores here. Grande, Mission Bell, the Horizon. The Prime Time had 6 guys, 60 Dorados. So they were in U.S. waters. Those other guys, limits on the Dorado. Everybody I'm mentioning, limits on the Dorado, mostly Mexican limits, 2 fish per rod. The T-Bird, the Condor on a day-and-a-half trip, 32 guys with a $1.10 on the Dorado. The Pacific Dawn, a day-and-a-half trip, 18 guys, 77 on the Dorado. The San Diego showed us that there is hope for the YFT, and some of it's nice grade. Some of it's up there in the 30 to 40 pound range, so really good to see that. San Diego, 35 guys, 56 yellowfin tuna, 25 on the Dorado. The new Loan on a day-and-a-half trip, to give you an example of how tough this bluefin has been. They had 17 bluefin and a yellowtail. They worked their tails off, working so hard out there on the bank, seeing so much fish, but it's been frustrating here. Now, another thing that we've got going on right now, and that is the weather is going to get nice. There's a residual swell still left over, but there is no wind on it. It doesn't look like we're going to have any wind until Sunday evening, and that's only going to help the situation. There's been a few nighttime fish taken, not a lot, but a few nighttime fish taken, and with the wind getting out of the picture, you're probably going to be able to fish that 300-gram jig right now, but I'd still have jigs up in the 400-gram. 200-pound leaders are absolutely required. It's a good idea to fish that heavy string. Those bluefin have teeth, and they will chew through your line, so do that. 100 to 130-pound spectra, and you should be in really good shape. Colored, metered line, so you know what depth your jig is at is absolutely essential, as is dropping when the captain tells you to drop. I know it's not been that great at night here recently, but it's going to flip on, and I want you prepared. And then when you're on the bank, or you're heading out there, or you're looking at this local bluefin, man, I'll tell you, there's some really nice grade stuff. You want to try to get bit on 60, and by choosing a good hot bait, you can normally do that. But if you have to drop down to 40 pound, you may want to do that. Those bluefin tuna are big, and they are mean right now for some reason. They're very tough, and you're going to be on a half-day boat, or a three-quarter-day boat, or an overnight boat, or a full-day boat, and it's going to rock one of these days. There were no huge scores in the LA Orange County area, in that local area. In fact, the El Patron was out. I think he had a couple of Dorado and a yellowfin tuna. It was a tough day for them as they scoured the area, but they saw plenty of fish, and we continue to see plenty of fish. And as I say, it's going to explode one of these days really soon. I got to tell you, the Freedom is on a roll. Trevor and Gary are running the boat, and they are flat kicking butt. They had one of the best bluefin scores anywhere yesterday out of 22nd Street Landing in beautiful San Pedro, California. The Freedom just keeps making it happen with 31 on the bluefin tuna, 20 Dorado, and 10 yellowfin tuna. The trip before that, they had a $1.65 on the Dorado, so they are finding some really good zones, and there is some great fishing, as you can hear, not only in San Diego, but extending up to 22nd Street Landing, up to Redondo. There are opportunities up to the Channel Islands for this offshore bite. It's really looking good. On board the Thunderbird, they worked their tails off. They only came up with 4 bluefin tuna. It's tough out there on the bank, as we said, but they filled in with lots of nice rockfish. Beautiful lingcod, I love that. And of course, the Thunderbird always putting out 175%. They do good. The Legend, KJ was out on it recently from Mag 12 Swim Baits. And KJ said it was a tough trip. In fact, we couldn't get out to the bank. The weather was too rough. Thank God that is moderated now, and it's down. So they fished locally, and they caught pretty good amounts of Dorado and Yellowfin, that kind of a thing, with one big, giant Dorado for that lucky angler right there. The biggest Dorado on the boat, and I believe it was her first time fishing. So, wow, how can you beat that? That's great stuff. Thank you, KJ, for sharing. All right, so some awfully good signal on that bluefin. The Dorado's off the hook wide open, and man, I'll tell you, there's more yellowfin starting to get in here. We'll see if that's going to bite also, and we are seeing it very close to Newport, very close to San Pedro, very close to all our local areas. It's looking like it's going to chew here very, very soon. Keep that in mind when you're choosing your tackle. If you have the kitchen sink, I'm recommending you bring it. There were some surface iron fish on this local bluefin, so guys that were throwing surface irons were getting bit, so that's something to keep in mind. Poppers work really well on those BFTs, those stick baits, also super effective. So we'll keep our eyes on this as it is getting absolutely crazy. Incidentally, yesterday we had a special live show earlier in the day about that Dorado and the nice young man who caught it. Check that out. And there's a free fishing tournament, land-based, out of Newport this weekend. You can learn all about that also. All right, my friends, let's talk a little bit about the islands down there in San Diego, the Coronado Islands. Water's trying to clean up. Still kind of mucked up, the water in many, many areas, but there's fish in that water, and hopefully it's going to clean up here soon. I think it's a residual from that tropical storm that blew through here. It kind of messed the water up. It's just taking a little while for it to recuperate. Coronado Island still picking at the yellowtail, but there's so much Dorado and other stuff down there. And there's kelp patty yellowtail also. We got hit really hard with that in the beginning about a week ago, and it's since not been all that great, but there's still a good chance for it. Back to the islands, also some bass, occasional barracuda. Guys are trying to focus in on that yellowtail. San Clemente Island, well, sometimes you get them and sometimes you don't. The greater yellowtail is smaller than it is out on Cortez Bank, where that yellowtail action has been pretty darn good out there in that neck of the woods. Jeff Yeomans from the 540 Slingers Club said they caught a ton of those big yellows on board the Freedom throwing the surface iron. That was super, super effective way to get the job done. At Clemente, anywhere from 8 to 20 pound yellowtail. Not a lot because of the sea lions, I think. They really harass the heck out of you. We'll watch that closely. A few yellows at Catalina Island. Not a lot. Picking, 1 to 4 on an average trip with some calico bass and some sheep's head and whitefish and rockfish, that kind of a bite there at Cat. Seeing some big bluefin up there around Santa Barbara Island and Channel Islands. Great rock fishing. Now the weather's starting to come down. We'll see some sea bass and halibut, and I think we're going to see some bluefin tuna up there today. The Aloha Spirit is going to get all over it, as are many other guys. A victory out of Long Beach sport fishing. Phil said, man, I saw so much fish. It was so frustrating. There's bluefin tuna all over the place, and one of these days, he surmised they're going to bite, and he's absolutely right. It is so awesome to see what we're looking down the barrel of here for late summer and fall. It's going to get absolutely crazy with half-day boat, Dorado, and bluefin, and everything else. That's my little prediction for the day. Not hard prediction since we're seeing it all over the place. So really, really looking good. Local fishing down in San Diego, our calico bass bite is not bad. For the most part, it has dropped way off. But yesterday on the Point Loma, Scott Buchert was decking on the boat, and he said, man, we had very steady action down here around La Jolla and Torrey Pines on the bass. A lot of shorts, but we had some nice big keeper, calico bass, and wide open on the short barracuda, Scott said. And then all of a sudden, this lady gets hooked up, and she's following this fish around. Something's tangled in the kelp. It comes to the surface. It's a nice big white sea bass. And Scott promptly put the gaff right in the head of that white sea bass, at least according to Scott. Perfect head gaff. And on board it came and really made her day. It made everybody's day on board the Point Loma. So that is pretty darn good. So really great to see that. And man, I'll tell you, this local bite has been great all year. That bass bite kind of backing off. It's backing off up there around Dana. Also, we're seeing a little bit up here in the LA Orange County area. Our bass fishing has gone down the tubes on us for a little while. And I think it's that mucked up water and drop in water temperature that did it. It will come back, I think. We'll see. We had great sand bass and great calico. Now we're picking at it, and there's a lot of boats catching, you know, sculpin and rockfish, and still catching some bass also. We'll see how that goes today. Hopefully it's going to get going. Again, a reminder, the Western Pride with that bluefin tuna, along with a bunch of rockfish, and that bluefin tuna was 140 pounds. What the heck is wrong with that? Sculpin on the city of Long Beach, Marina del Rey with rockfish along our coast. Coral Sea dropped the anchor twice, limited out on bass and rockfish up out of Santa Barbara. And really good albacore fishing continuing up there in Fort Bragg, just above San Francisco, California. Tremendous albacore fishing. I wouldn't count that out for our area either. Not because I made the dumb prediction, but because it just seems like the kind of year where something crazy like that might happen, where we get a fall bite on albies. Who knows? We'll see how that all plays out. Maybe some big eye starting to move in here also. It could get absolutely crazy. On the surf, we're seeing some really good corvina fishing in the shallows here. You can get all the bait you need at Big Fish Bait and Tackle. Big Fish Bait and Tackle. Make sure you check them out, as they are Southern California surf fishing headquarters. Of course, they got all your big game stuff, so if you're going bluefin tuna fishing, you can pick up your gear also. Spot fin starting to bite closer up here to Newport, better down in Oceanside. Everything is late this year. It's still really late. We've got some great fishing to come. There's a little bit of yellowfin croaker. There's some decent halibut fishing. Lucky Crafts, probably your best way. I like a little chrome 3/4 ounce crocodile cast out. Well, so you can see here, it's a little bit screwy today. But what you want to do is, you see that far wave that's breaking right now? You're going to cast right beyond that and then come back through that before that wave washes your jig and screws it all up. So today we've got some sets coming in here, not spaced out all that well, so it's a little difficult. Sometimes you got to wait. This is a perfect cast now, casting beyond that and then coming back through it. And you'll do fine. You'll have fun when you hook a fish. So some good surf fishing up and down our coast from below the border to all the way up to beautiful Channel Island area and even above that. All right, folks, the Apollo, we've got room. You heard about this Dorado fishing. There's some yellowfin also in the mix. It's going to be a great boat. It's going to be a great boat. It is a great boat with a great crew and fabulous fishing. C4 Sport Fishing, free parking. Got 2 spots left on that one. 657-227-6459. Don't miss our great trip on the Independence. 5 days of luxury, of great food, of me shooting your video. And of course, the fishing just seems to be getting better and better and better at daybreak here in beautiful Surfside, California. All right, my friends, have a great day. I'll be on it today for you, watching things. Who knows, maybe some more live shows for you. Anything happens, we'll have it for you. There's a lot of excitement in sport fishing here in Southern California right now, with all this tremendous area of bluefin that isn't biting, as we made clear. It's biting a little bit, but not really that well at all. It's going to chew here real soon. Tremendous Dorado and a lot of yellowfin down in San Diego for the full day and overnight trips. It's only going to get better. Like, share, subscribe, tick the bell, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We got it all for you. And of course, the persons who made that all possible, who's helped us to grow. We're right on the knocking on the door of 11,000 subscribers. That is you right there at home today, or wherever it is I find you. Thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart. Have a great day, and I hope to see you really, really soon.